بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين. أيها الإخوة والأخوات، أهلا بكم مرة أخرى في حلقة من حلقات مادة اللغة الإنجليزية للمستوى الثاني لطلاب قسم الاقتصاد وقسم إدارة الأعمال بكلية الاقتصاد والعلوم الإدارية. And this session is 24. It's session number 24. And in this session, we'll go back just a little bit to one of the slides, or actually a couple of slides, in which I have explained how to make sentences in the simple present tense, because we'll go through some exercises today, and we want to just go back a little bit to explain them, and then we'll do the, of course, exercises of today's session. So let me just go a little bit to these slides and explain them again. All right, in this slide, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, let's begin. It's about, again, the present simple tense. As I said earlier, كما قلت سابقا, we have the subject. We start with the subject, then the verb, and then of course the rest of the sentence. نبدأ بالمبتدأ ثم الفعل ثم بعده تكملة الجملة إن كان الفعل يتطلب ذلك. مثلا هنا قلنا أيضا إنه في حال كون the subject I or you or we or they، نعم، يكون الفعل أو الفعل الذي يأتي بعدهم هو في حالة الانفينيتيف أو في البيس فورم and doesn't change، ولا يتغير، يكون في نفس حالته الرئيسية الأساسية ولا يتغير. فit says here use I, you, we, they plus the infinitive to make affirmative sentences. The example is I like swimming, they like tennis. فمثلا لو نظرنا لهذا المثال I like، the verb like هنا طبعا هو أساس الفعل هو like. We don't add anything and we do not take anything out of it. it is the same, no change. لاحظ I like swimming. وممكن أيضا يكون you like swimming, we like swimming, they like swimming, right? Like here for example they like tennis. that's in case we want to make affirmative sentences. هذا في حالة عندما نريد أن نكون جمل مثبتة، فنستخدم السبجكت في البداية، يأتي بعده الفعل ثم ما يعني تكملة الجملة إن كان يعني في حالة كون الفعل يتطلب ذلك. مثل فعل like، يعني you cannot stop after the verb like. You can't just say I like and stop، يعني ما تستطيع أن تقف، لأنه فعل like عادة يتعدى إلى ما بعده، يعني يأتي بعده an object. They say I like swimming. Whereas some verbs, of course, do not require an object. Like, for example, you can say I sleep or he sleeps, and you can stop after that. طيب, all right, that's the first point in this slide. The second point, النقطة الثانية هنا, use I, you, we, they إضافة إلى إيش؟ don't. بعده يأتي الانفينيتيف أو المصدر الفعل، المصدر الأساسي من الفعل. نعم، ليه؟ to make negative sentences. إيش؟ لنكون جمل منفية، وهذا هو المثال. we do not or we don't. يعني احنا don't here, we don't, that's the of course the short form of do not، لأنه عندنا هنا do and not، لكن we attach not to do, and that's called of course contraction. So we don't play tennis, they don't eat in restaurants. طبعا ممكن the subject can be I and it can be you here, and can be they, or you can actually say something like Muhammad and Abdul Aziz, or the the students, or the boys, or the girls do not play tennis, or girls don't play tennis. Or you can say just any plural noun here, or second person, like for example second person like for example you, right? Like you can also say they, as this example of course show. They don't eat in restaurants. They don't eat in restaurant. The third point, النقطة الثالثة, Alright. Use do. الآن نريد أن إيش كيف نكون أسئلة. Use do, okay, إضافة إلى I, you, we, they, ثم يأتي بعدهم أيضا إيش the infinitive or the base form of the verb to make yes no questions. To make yes no questions. إذا لنكون أسئلة, right, اللي نسميها yes no questions. Yes no questions normally are answered by yes or no. If you say, as an example here, we start with do. Do you like English? Right? The answer can be yes, I do, or no, I don't. Do they watch television? Do they watch television? لاحظ هنا do وهنا أيضا do. It's in red. This one should be also in red, but anyway. So you start with do to make yes, no questions, and you end the question with a question mark. تبدأ ب do وتنهي السؤال بالإيش علامة السؤال أو الاستفهام هنا. طيب. Do they like English? Do they like English? Do they watch television? Do they watch television? That's these are two questions. And you can ask about, for example, do we like English? Do we watch television? And do I like English? All right. إذن do تستخدم okay في حال تكوين سؤال right باستخدام الضمائر I, you, we, and they. Okay, and this slide of course explains again in a little bit more details, I guess, with some examples, the affirmative, negative, and questions. To have a question, to have an affirmative with these pronouns, like these examples. I get up at 6 o'clock. You eat breakfast at 7 o'clock. We start work at 8 o'clock. They live in Riyadh. I have friends. لاحظ الأفعال في كل جملة. Okay. لاحظ الأفعال في كل جملة هنا إيش؟ We don't add anything. It's just the base form of the verb. No change. And that's how it should be when the subject is one of these or when it is a plural. Okay. To make negative, just like what I said earlier, we add not. We add before that, of course, after the subject, the helping verb do plus the word, the negative word, or the word for negative, not. And we attach it to that helping verb. We can say do not. We don't have to attach it here, but in speaking, normally in speech, we just kind of do them or put them together. Okay, we put them together. So I don't. This is the negative form or the negative, sentence from that one. So you say I get up at 6 o'clock. I don't get up at 6 o'clock. Okay. You eat breakfast at 7 o'clock. You don't eat breakfast at 7 o'clock. We start work at 8 o'clock. We don't start work at 8 o'clock. They live in Riyadh. They don't live in Riyadh. I have friends. I don't have friends. Okay, now, again, making questions. You bring that do here all the way to the beginning, right? And you draw, of course, and then you add that question mark. So do plus the subject and then the verb, right, and the rest of the sentence. If, of course, the verb requires that. إذا كان يحتاج الفعل نحن نكمل تكملة نكمل. إذن يأتي the helping verb do, then the subject, which can be either you, we, they, or I. يعني هنا ممكن تقول do you get up at 6? Do you get up at 6 o'clock? Or do we get up at 6 o'clock? Do they get up at 6 o'clock? Or do I get up at 6 o'clock? All of these examples are possible. Do they have friends? Do you have friends? Right? Do we have friends? Do I have friends? So, or do the students have friends? Do the teachers have, friends? All of these are possible. So just keep in mind that with the subjects I, you, we, they, we use do to make questions, and it is moved to the beginning or front of the sentence, to the front, right, to the beginning, and then we add the question mark here to indicate that we have a question, to indicate that we have a question. And with negatives, do plus the word for negative, which is not. For affirmative, nothing added to the verb, just the subject, then the verb, and then the rest of the sentence. Okay. Now, in case the subject, of course, in case the subject is he, the pronoun he, she, or it, or a singular pronoun, okay, what happens is that we add s, okay, to the main verb. And by the way, here we're talking about the simple present tense. Again, keep in mind, simple present tense. And use the simple present tense to talk about facts, again, and regular activities. Example, Sumaya lives in Jeddah. She goes to work by car. لاحظوا الفعل هنا إيش؟ أضفنا له إيش؟ S. وهنا أضفنا له أيضا S to work. Okay? Sumaya lives in Jeddah. She goes to work by car. طيب. The first point, second point here, use he, she, it, plus infinitive, plus s to make affirmative sentence. إذن لتكوين جملة مثبتة باستخدام عندما يكون الضمير إما he, she, it, or any singular, or if the subject is singular, أو لما يكون المبتدأ إيش مفرد. في حال تكوين جملة مثبتة إيش نستخدم هذا الشكل هنا أو this form, which is one of these, the he, she, or it, إضافة إلى الverb نفسه، لكن لا يبقى كما هو، وإنما نضيف له إيش؟ نضيف له s، نضيف له s. وطبعا هذا يعتمد على نهاية الفعل، كما يعني عرفنا في الحلقة الماضية، عرفنا طلعنا وراح نلاحظهم أيضا اليوم إن شاء الله. الأفعال عندما يكون الفعل teach or brush or fix, all of these, of course, with these endings we add is and not just s. So he works for CNN. He works. لاحظوا أنه هنا ك, which is a voiceless sound, and the s here is also pronounced, or it is also voiceless because it agrees, it has to agree with the phonetic features of the final sound in the word or in the verb work. So he works for CNN. أضفنا s على الفعل ولا يبقى كما هو. Okay, لكن the base form هو is written in black color. All right. Second sentence, or the second example, his son works for HP. His son works for HP. لاحظ هنا أيضا أضفنا إيش الS. طيب. Third point, use he, she. طبعا هنا إيش to make what? We want to make negative sentences. How to make negative sentences when the pronoun or when the subject is he, she, it? What happens is that we add after the subjects, after the he, she, it, okay, we have does. Instead of do, remember in the previous slide, do we use it with I, you, they, okay, and we. لكن مع he, she, and it, and أي مفرد أيضا، أي مبتدأ مفرد، نستخدم does. إضافة إلى إيش؟ كلمة النفي اللي هي not. إذن does not. إضافة إلى الفعل نفسه, and we drop that s. We drop the s. فمثلا هنا في affirmative sentence لاحظ هنا he works. طيب ننفي الجملة هذه he works for CNN. لننفيها نقول he does not. Okay, and then we bring that verb here, but we drop the s from it. All right, we drop that s. Right, and that's the way, of course, to make negative sentences. So the example is he doesn't get up early. He doesn't get up early. لاحظوا no s here. Okay, because we have does. Already is taken here. So he doesn't get up early, and she doesn't, okay, have classes today. She doesn't have classes today. لاحظ the helping verb does, okay, sorry, does, okay, and then the negative word not have classes today. She doesn't have classes today. The final point is this: use does. الآن نريد إيش نعرف كيف نكون السؤال باستخدام إيش لما يكون the subject he, she or it. أيضا نستخدم نفس does هذه مثل ما كان في حالة I, you, we and they. We moved. نحن نقلنا do إلى بداية الجملة. الآن ننقل does إلى بداية الجملة ونقول does. Right? فuse does plus he, she, it plus infinitive. Okay. plus معناها إضافة إلى. إذن does he, she or it إضافة للفعل نفسه to make yes no questions. Example: does she work at home? Does she work at home? And the second question: does he like his job? Does he like his job? لاحظ هنا does الفعل أيضا إيش تسقط منه الإس because it's already taken here. It's taken or used in the or attached to the helping verb. Okay, do. So it is does. It's does. And you know the question here: does he work at home? At home. By the way, here some people say at the home, and it's wrong. We cannot add that article to the word home. So just at home. And you wanted to go home. You say I want to go home, not to go to the home. I want to go home. I went home. All right, and all of that. Okay, now, but this is okay. This slide also gives us more examples again with the use of he, she, and it. Again, we can make affirmative sentences, negative. We make this affirmative negative here, and we make also questions in this part of the slide. He gets up. لاحظ, he gets up at 6 o'clock. He doesn't get up at 6 o'clock. Question: does he get up at 6 o'clock? أيضا لاحظ الانتونيشن اللي أنا إيش أعمله عندما أقرأ السؤال هنا في نهاية السؤال يكون فيه rising intonation, right? Does he get up at 6 o'clock? Right. She eats breakfast at 7 o'clock. She doesn't eat breakfast at 7 o'clock. That's negative. And the question from that one is, does she eat breakfast at 7 o'clock? Third sentence. He starts work at 8 o'clock. He doesn't start work at 8 o'clock. Does he start work at 8 o'clock? لاحظ الفعل أيضا okay أسقطت منه الأس because it's already attached to the helping verb here. And similarly, it's also dropped here because that S which comes here in the affirmative sentence, when in the case of negative and question, it's dropped because it's already carried by the helping verb in the case of negative and in the case of questions. The next example: my friend lives in Riyadh. طبعا أيضا the subject can be my friend, his friend, your friend, their friend. As long as it is singular, then it is fine. The verb has to have that S at the end. So the subject doesn't have to be just he, she, it in order for the verb to have that S. No, it can be, you know, of course, anything. It can be even something that doesn't, you know, move. You can say the car, for example, or I mean, you can say the car has four seats, for example, or you can say the pen has. You can say something like has a nice color, for example, or the table, you know, has 6 legs, for example, something like that. All right. And so my friend lives in Mecca. You can say Riyadh has many malls, for example. My friend doesn't live in Riyadh. That's the negative of that one. And the last one here is that we have the question: does your friend live in Riyadh? Does your friend live in Riyadh? لاحظ هنا ايش بدأنا ب does بعدين your friend هنا ايش مفرد. does your هل صديقك يسكن في الرياض؟ هل صديقك يسكن في الرياض؟ فهنا أيضا the last example here is he, she has friends. He, she doesn't have friend or friends. that's a negative. And the question of course is does he, she or she. يعني واحدة منهم لا يمكن يكون اثنين يعني. Okay. Because if we use he and she, then we have to say of course do. Right? And of course we don't do that, right? So does she or does he or she have friends? Does he have friends? Does she have friends? And again لاحظ ايش the rising intonation. Okay, now that's of course what we have done, and then of course we went through some exercises. Pronunciation, this is one of the things that we looked at also in the previous session, in one of the previous sessions, which is regarding the intonation at the end in case of course information questions or information questions like these, or yes no questions here. You have rising intonation, right, with of course here, right, look, and falling intonation here. Do you come from Egypt? Do you come from Egypt? Do you come from Egypt? Right? Where do you come from? لاحظ, where do you come from? Now I want you to listen and repeat again. Are you Egyptian? Are you Egyptian? The word repeat يعني أعد. Are you Egyptian? Is he a teacher? Is he a teacher? Do you come from Cairo? Do you work in Riyadh? Do you have any children? لاحظ كله rising intonation. Right? Now, where do you live? Where do you live? What do you do? What do you do? Where do you work? Where do you work? How do you go to work? How do you go to work? And what time do you get home? What time do you get home? And again, this arrow, of course, has to be moved to this part of the slide. Okay, let's now go to the exercises that I have for you today, and this we have actually done before, and what I have for you today is this. Let me very quickly go to this one again. Look at the verb here. Yes, this is something that I have also explained, that I have explained last time. في حالة لما يكون الفعل ينتهي بالإيش؟ بالأصوات هذه، إما ش أو تش أو اس أو اكس. إيش يكون النهاية؟ إحنا قلنا قبل قليل إنه مثلا كلمة like قلنا likes, he likes, he lives, he eats. Alright? لكن لما يكون أو حال live مثلا قلنا the تعتبر إيش؟ voiced وفيها اهتزاز في الحبال الصوتية، لكن في حال مثلا ت مثلا like eat نقول eats. طيب في حال كون نهاية الفعل ش أو تش أو س إيش يكون نهاية إيش؟ ينطق إيش؟ أولا يكون السبيلينج es وليس s فقط. نعم لاحظ هنا pushes, teaches, kisses, fixes، وأيضا لاحظ ينتقل من هنا إلى هنا، وهكذا كيف إيش ينطق أو كيف ينطق is فنقول pushes, teaches, kiss, kisses, fixes. So that es at the end becomes is. It becomes is. So he teaches English, right? He kisses his children, right? And he fixes his car, and he pushes the door. And these are the examples. Okay, and with this we come to the end of this session 24. I hope, of course, it was just kind of a review. Mainly used some Arabic, of course, in it, because I felt that maybe I have to use some Arabic to help you understand that rule, because it's very important. We will have a lot of exercises later, inshallah, in the coming exercises, in the coming sessions. Thank you very much. Shukran. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.